Welcome back to the channel BBC Coin. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1959 Lincoln 1-cent coin. A coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but hides a story that collectors around the world are obsessed with. Let's begin. The year 1959 was not just another year for coins in the United States. It marked a historic turning point. For the first time in 50 years, the design of the Lincoln penny was completely changed. Before 1959, the coin featured the famous wheat ears design. But in 1959, the United States Mint introduced a brand new reverse, the Lincoln Memorial. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about coins among collectors, the 1963 Liberty 1-cent United States coin. A coin that looks ordinary, but in rare cases, can be surprisingly valuable. So stay till the end, because what you're about to learn might make you rush to check your pocket change right now. Let's begin. The 1963 1-cent coin is part of the famous Lincoln Memorial series. On the front, you'll see the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln along with the word Liberty, the year 1963, and the phrase "In God We Trust." On the back, the Lincoln Memorial stands proudly, symbolizing American history and unity. But here's where things get interesting. In 1963, the United States Mint produced more than 2.5 billion pennies. That's billions with a B. These coins were made in two main locations, Philadelphia and Denver. Now listen carefully. If your coin has a small letter D under the date, it means it was minted in Denver. But if there is no mint mark at all, that means it came from Philadelphia. And this is where many people get confused. A lot of people believe that having no mint mark automatically makes the coin rare. But that's not true. In fact, Philadelphia coins simply didn't use a mint mark back then. So what actually makes a 1963 penny valuable? The answer is condition, rarity, and errors. Let's break it down. Most 1963 pennies that you find in normal circulated condition are only worth a few cents. Typically, between 5 cents and maybe 30 cents depending on where. Yes, you heard that right. Just a few cents. But now comes the exciting part. If your coin is in uncirculated condition, meaning it looks almost brand new, its value can jump significantly. Some high-quality mint state coins can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars, and in extremely rare cases, even thousands. There are documented examples where top-grade 1963 pennies have sold for over $6,000 or more at auction. And that's not all. Certain coins with exceptional quality, known as MS-67 grade, have reached values as high as $10,000 depending on color and preservation. So where does this idea of $1,200 come from? Well, a 1963 penny, especially a Denver mint or no mint mark version, can reach around $1,200 if it meets very specific conditions. First, the coin must be in near-perfect condition with strong original red color. Second, it must have no scratches, no damage, and excellent detail. And third, it often needs to be professionally graded by experts. Coins that meet these strict requirements are extremely rare, which is why collectors are willing to pay such high prices. But wait, there's more. Some of the most valuable 1963 pennies are not just about condition, they're about mistakes. Yes, mistakes. These are called error coins. During the minting process, sometimes things go wrong. A letter might be doubled, the coin might be struck off center, or the design may appear slightly misaligned. These small errors can turn a common penny into a collector's dream. For example, a 1963 penny with a double die error or unusual strike can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how rare the error is. That's why collectors carefully inspect every detail of the coin using magnifying glasses. Even the smallest difference can mean big money. Now let's talk about color. 1963 pennies come in three main color types: red, red-brown, and brown. Red coins are the most valuable because they retain their original shine and copper color. Brown coins, on the other hand, are usually less valuable because they have aged and lost their original appearance. This means two coins from the same year can have completely different values just based on color alone. Amazing, right? Another important thing to know is that the 1963 penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This high copper content gives the coin its classic reddish tone and also adds a small intrinsic value based on metal. But remember, the real value comes from rarity and condition, not just the metal. Now here's something interesting from collectors. Many people search through thousands of pennies just to find one perfect example. In fact, high-grade coins are so rare that finding one is like winning a mini lottery. And that's what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know when you might find a hidden treasure. So how can you check if your 1963 penny is valuable? Start by looking at the condition. Is it shiny or worn out? Next, check for a mint mark under the date. Then, examine the coin closely for any unusual features or errors. If your coin looks exceptional, you might want to get it professionally graded. Because that small coin in your hand could be worth far more than you ever imagined. But let's be realistic for a moment. Not every 1963 penny is worth $1,200. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in the collecting world, the 1976 Liberty 1-cent coin with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks like just another ordinary penny. But what if I told you that under the right conditions, this tiny copper coin could turn into a collector's treasure? Let's uncover the truth. The year 1976 was a historic moment for the United States. It marked 200 years of independence, the bicentennial celebration. Special designs were created for quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins. But interestingly, the 1-cent coin did not receive a special design. Instead, it continued with the classic Abraham Lincoln portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. This design was originally created by Victor David Brenner and later refined by Frank Gasparo. Now here's where things get interesting. The 1976 penny without a mint mark was produced in Philadelphia. Back then, coins from Philadelphia didn't carry a mint mark at all. And because of this, millions of people today mistakenly believe that no mint mark means rare. But here's the reality. Over 4.6 billion of these coins were produced. Yes, billions. That means most of these coins are extremely common. In fact, a typical circulated 1976 penny with no mint mark is worth only about 1 cent to a few cents, basically its face value. So now you might be wondering, where does the $1,200 value come from? This is where collectors separate ordinary coins from extraordinary ones. The secret lies in condition, rarity, and errors. Let's talk about condition first. Coin collectors use grading systems to determine how well preserved a coin is. A coin that looks shiny, untouched, and brand new is called uncirculated. These coins are graded using a scale called mint state, or MSA. High-grade 1976 penny, especially in MS67 or higher condition, can be worth hundreds of dollars, sometimes even more. In rare auction cases, extremely high-grade examples have sold for thousands of dollars. Yes, a simple penny turning into a four-figure collectible. But condition alone is not the only factor. Now let's talk about something even more exciting: error coins. These are coins that were minted with mistakes. And in the coin collecting world, mistakes can mean big money. Some 1976 pennies show what is called a double die error. This happens when the design is stamped twice slightly off alignment, creating a doubling effect in the text like Liberty or In God We Trust. These error coins can sell for anywhere between $50 to over $400, depending on how strong the error is. Other valuable errors include off-center strikes, clipped edges, and die cracks. Each of these adds uniqueness, and collectors love uniqueness. But here's something very important you need to understand. Not every 1976 penny with no mint mark is valuable. In fact, the majority are not. Many people online claim that these coins are worth $1,000 or more, but that is often misleading. Experts warn that high prices seen online are sometimes just hype or unrealistic listings, not actual selling prices. So how can you tell if your coin is valuable? Here are a few simple things to check. First, look at the color. A bright red copper coin is more valuable than a dull brown one. Second, check for shine and detail. If the coin looks almost new, with sharp lines and no scratches. That's a good sign. Third, inspect for errors. Use a magnifying glass and carefully look at the letters and numbers. Any doubling, misalignment, or unusual marks could increase value. Fourth, today, we're diving into one of the most talked about coins among collectors, the 1979 Liberty 1-cent coin with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks like just another ordinary penny. But what if I told you some of these coins are being talked about with values starting from $1,200? Yes, you heard that right. But before you rush to your pocket change, let's uncover the truth, the mystery, and the hidden secrets behind this fascinating coin. First, let's understand what this coin actually is. The 1979 1-cent coin is part of the famous Lincoln Memorial Penny series. On the front, you'll see the legendary face of Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor D. Brenner. On the back, there's the iconic Lincoln Memorial Building. This design was used from 1959 to 2008, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. Now here's where things get interesting. If your coin has no mint mark, it means it was produced in Philadelphia. And millions, actually billions, of these coins were made that year. So, how can something so common be worth over $1,200? The answer lies in three powerful factors: condition, rarity, and errors. Let's break it down. Number 1. Condition. Most 1979 pennies you find are worn out. Scratches, dull color, and years of circulation reduce their value dramatically. In fact, a normal circulated 1979 penny without a mint mark is usually worth just a few cents, sometimes only its copper value of around 2 to 3 cents. But if your coin is in mint state condition, meaning it looks almost brand new, its value increases significantly. Collectors pay serious money for coins graded MS65, MS66, or higher. In extremely rare cases, top condition coins have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Number 2. Rarity. Here's something most people don't realize: not all coins are equal, even if they look identical. Some coins were struck better than others. Some were preserved perfectly, and some survived decades without damage. These rare, high-quality coins are what collectors hunt for. According to coin experts, only a tiny percentage of 1979 pennies reach the highest grades like MS67 or MS68, and those are the ones that can command very high prices. So when you hear about a $1,200 coin, it's not just any coin. It's a rare, near-perfect example. Number 3. Errors. Now this is where things get really exciting. Error coins are like hidden treasures. They are mistakes made during the minting process, and collectors love them. Some valuable 1979 penny errors include double letters in Liberty, or IN God we trust, off-center strikes, clipped edges, die cracks, and unusual markings. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1980 Lincoln Liberty 1-cent coin, especially the mysterious no-mint mark version and the famous 1980 D penny. By the end of this video, you might rush to check your pockets, because you could already be holding a hidden treasure. First, let's understand what this coin really is. The 1980 1-cent coin belongs to the iconic Lincoln Memorial Penny series, first introduced in 1959. On the front, you'll see the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, calm, strong, and historic. On the back, the Lincoln Memorial stands tall, symbolizing American legacy and unity. These coins were made mostly of copper. In fact, 1980 pennies are among the last full copper coins before the U.S. Mint changed the composition in 1982. So right away, this coin already carries historical significance. Now let's talk about something that confuses many people: the no mint mark mystery. If your 1980 penny has no letter under the date, many people think it's a rare error. But here's the truth. Coins without a mint mark were actually made in Philadelphia, and that was completely normal for that time. In fact, billions of these coins were produced, which means most of them are only worth 1 cent. Yes, just 1 cent. But don't click away yet, because this is where things get interesting. Not all 1980 pennies are equal. Some of them are incredibly rare. And those rare ones can be worth serious money. Let's talk about the real reason why some 1980 pennies sell for hundreds, even over $1,200. It all comes down to errors and condition. Magnifying glass tilted left 1. The double die error. This is one of the most famous and valuable errors. Look closely at the words, Liberty, or the date, 1980. If you see a slight doubling, like a shadow effect, you might have something special. Collectors love these coins. Some have sold for $300, $500, and even higher depending on quality. In rare, high-grade condition, values can climb even further, sometimes reaching into four-figure territory. Magnifying glass tilted left 2. Off-center strike error. Imagine a coin that looks misaligned. Part of the design is missing, and the coin looks shifted to one side. That's called an off-center strike. Depending on how dramatic the error is, these coins can sell for $20, $100, even $200 plus dollars. And if the error is extreme and still shows the date clearly, collectors go crazy for it. Magnifying glass tilted left 3. Wrong planchet error. Now this is where things get truly rare. Sometimes, a penny was accidentally struck on the wrong metal, like a dime planchet. That's not supposed to happen. These coins are extremely rare, and when they appear at auctions, they can be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars. Yes. This is where the $1,200 plus value becomes possible. Magnifying glass tilted left 4. High-grade mint state coins. Even without errors, condition matters. If your 1980 penny looks brand new, shiny, red, untouched, it could be graded as mint state. Top quality coins have sold for $300 plus, and while most don't reach $1,000, exceptional examples can surprise the market. Now let's address the big question. Backhand index pointing right. Can a normal 1980 penny be worth $1,200? The honest answer is, not usually. Most 1980 pennies are extremely common and only worth a few cents to a few dollars. But if your coin has a rare error, or is in perfect collector-grade condition, then yes, its value can skyrocket. And sometimes, online listings or rare auction sales create hype around coins reaching $1,200 or more. Light bulb. Here's something important many beginners don't know. The coin market is driven by rarity plus demand plus condition. If all three align, even a 1-cent coin can become a treasure. Direct hit. So how do you check if your coin is valuable? Here's what to do. First, grab a magnifying glass. Look closely at the date 1980, the word LIBRTY, the phrase in God we trust. Check for doubling, cracks, or unusual shapes. Second, inspect the edges. Is the coin off-center? Clipped? Unusual. Third, look at the color. Today, we are uncovering one of the most fascinating hidden treasures in the world of coin collecting, the 1981 United States 1-cent coin with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks ordinary. It's small, copper-colored, and something you might ignore in your pocket. But what if I told you that this coin, under the right conditions, could be worth over $1,200 or even more? Let's dive into the mystery. The 1981 1-cent coin is part of the famous Lincoln Cent series, one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. On the front, you'll see the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, along with the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1981. On the back, there's the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of history and honor. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these coins were produced without a mint mark. That means they were made in Philadelphia. And unlike today, coins from this mint didn't carry a P mark back then. Now, you might be thinking, so what? Millions of these coins were made. And you're right. Over 7 billion were minted. But here's the secret that most people don't know. Not all 1981 no mint mark pennies are the same. Some of them contain rare features, hidden errors, or extraordinary conditions that turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Let's talk about value. In normal condition, a 1981 no mint mark penny is only worth a few cents. Maybe 2 to 10 cents depending on where. But when you step into the world of collectors, everything changes. Coins in mint condition, meaning they look almost brand new, can jump in value significantly. Some high-grade versions have sold for over $100, and in extremely rare cases, even thousands. Now here's the part that will blow your mind. Certain rare variations and errors in the 1981 penny can push its value to $1,200 or more. Yes, a single penny. So what makes these coins so valuable? First, errors. During the minting process, mistakes sometimes happen. And these mistakes can make a coin extremely rare. One of the most valuable types is the double die error. This happens when the design is stamped twice slightly off alignment, creating a doubled effect on the letters or numbers. These coins can be worth hundreds to over $1,000 depending on how strong the error is. Another valuable error is the off-center strike, where the design is not properly centered. These coins can sell for hundreds of dollars as well. Then there are rare planchet errors, where the coin is struck on the wrong metal or an unusual blank. Some experimental or transitional coins from 1981 have been reported, and these can exceed $1,000 in value if authenticated. Second, condition. Condition is everything in coin collecting. Collectors use a grading system, and the highest grades, like MS-67 or MS-68, are incredibly rare. Only a tiny number of coins reach this level. A 1981 no-mint mark penny in MS-68 condition has been valued at thousands of dollars simply because of its perfect preservation. Think about that. A coin that most people ignore could be worth more than a month's salary, just because it was kept in perfect condition. Third, composition. The 1981 penny is one of the last coins made mostly of copper, about 95% copper and 5% zinc. After 1982, the US switched to cheaper zinc-based coins. That means every 1981 penny represents the end of an era, making it historically important and more desirable to collectors. Now imagine combining all three factors: rare error, perfect condition, and historical significance. That's where the value crosses into the $1,200 range and beyond. But here's something important you need to understand. Not every 1981 no-mint mark penny is valuable. In fact, most are still very common. The real challenge is knowing what to look for. Check your coin carefully. Look at the lettering. Is it doubled? Check the edges. Is the design off-center? Look at the surface. Does it shine like new? And most importantly, never clean your coin. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Collectors prefer coins in their original condition, even if they look slightly worn. Now let's talk about real-world sales. Some high-grade 1981 pennies have sold for over $1,000 at auctions. Others with rare errors have reached even higher prices depending on demand. And this is what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know when you might be holding something rare. That old jar of coins in your house, that loose change in your drawer,